types of language assessments: approach, tips, tech, tools. What we're going to talk about is tips for the assessments. So first, we've got achievement tests. And it's based in the classroom setting, curriculum, outcomes, and then we have the students learning, teachers teaching, and when we're done, we take that test to see if they've met those outcomes and achievements. And they can look like formative or summative. Formative would be like weekly quizzes, homework assignments, more reoccurring things so you can adjust and improve. Whereas summative is more like end of the unit quiz, final exam, midterms, different assessment tools related to the achievement tests in the classroom. Then we've got diagnostic tests. The goal for that would be to capture your student or your person's skill set and what they need to improve on. So exact details from both perspectives. That is definitely different from achievement testing. Achievement testing is more measuring what has already been known or your knowledge of already the subject. And then diagnostic is what you need to learn. Diagnostic is definitely strongly used in the classroom, and who would typically do that would be, like the specialist or the ASL helper. Then we've got aptitude tests. Aptitude tests are before you learn the language, before you learn it. And so you can predict, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up really well, or, ooh, I'm going to really struggle and it might not be worth taking this class. And you kind of drop the class because you're going to struggle. Or, oh, I'm doing really well. This test is really easy. I'll go ahead and take more. This type of test was more popular in the 1950s, but it's kind of declining and dissolving as time goes by. And the reason is because people will take the test, be upset with the results, continue to take the classes that they wanted to, and they succeed. So it's more of a motivational thing that leads to success. But now with aptitude tests is more geared towards taking the test, learning the results, understanding what my skill set is, is it a small part of the language, or is it cultural information, or is it like, what are my proficiencies, what are my weaknesses and strengths? What do I need to improve on? Is it grammar? Is it vocabulary? But so when you went in to take this test, I'm like, oh, I know I need to work on this, or no, I know I'm pretty good at this. It kind of gives you that gauge of category of where you're at. Does ASL have that? No, it doesn't. Is it worth developing? Possibly. Now we've got proficiency tests. So it tests your language skills. So, when you learn, when you go to college, the curriculum, it has nothing to do with that. It's norm reinforced. So it's summative in a way because, you've got someone who comes in, takes the test, then leaves. All right, that's your level. That's where you're at. That's your proficiency. And then they understand the results. And what you would take that, the reason why you would take that is to kind of understand what my skill level is. Or maybe your job requires it, so you go ahead and take it and show them the results. Or maybe there's a state licensure, so you take it and have those results to prove that you know the language. For example, the TOEFL test for English, it's a proficiency test, whereas ASLPI for the English language for interview, they're proficiency tests. Then you've got placement tests. Which level is what a placement test is kind of what K through 12, when you have a new student coming in, you need to know where to place the student, what reading class, writing, science, which math, all the different subjects. Where do you placement? Where do you place the student? There's different levels of how that works out, different types of tests, what they look like, and they could come up and they could sign to you. And then you can kind of gauge you're going to be an ASL 1. Or you're signing, they're answering, you keep asking, you keep engaging, and then you're like, oh, okay, you can be in ASL 5. Or, you actually come in, take a test on the computer, answer all the questions. If you're looking and receptive and you're answering their questions correctly. That's one example that Gallaudet University uses for the placement test. And the abbreviation is ASLPI. The placement test is always criteria reinforced in regards to the curriculum. What do I need to learn in ASL 1? All right, we'll place a few things in the test that has to do with ASL 1, ASL 2, ASL 3. Then as the students take it, they kind of keep going, get the proficiency level, they keep going, keep learning, keep going, and it kind of gauges where they're at meeting the curriculum. It corresponds with the curriculum levels. Now there's different types of assessments again. And what is your experience looking back on it, and also looking forward? Which of these type of placement tests or these types of test assessments that we've experienced? Achievement testing for sure.